So here we go. It's pre-final time here at round 2 at Castelletto, Sette Laghe circuit in the Castelletto di Branduzzo in the Lombardia region of Italy. And it's time to go racing. Let's get these points dished out to whoever can take the lead. And the grid for this bumper grid with the 34 karts all out there. In pole position, we have Mark Kimber. He's had a brilliant weekend, took pole position on Friday. He's taken pole position yesterday to start on the front row here today. And alongside him is our championship leader as we arrive here in Italy, Axel Charpentier. Row 2, Glenn Van Berlo and Tom Canning. Tom Canning took a win in the last heat yesterday, brilliant performance. Ollie Coldwell and Chow Zhu on row 3 have been performing brilliantly all weekend. Fourth row is Laurie Lepper and Adam Smalley. Row 5, Dirk Seefried and Tamino Bergmeyer. Sixth row, Sebastian Estner and Hugo Anderson. Row 7, Antoine Perceval and Lucas Dunaire. Row 8, Conor McCarthy and Kamanok Artsemi. Ninth row is Titus Shanghai Schmidley and Killian Meyer. Row 10, Laszlo Toth and Ruben Del Sart. Row 11 is Joe Phillips and Jean Nomblo. 12th row, Enzo Valent and Pepin Krajeveld. 13th row, Jason Ferrati and Daniel Netiagovsky. Row 14, Matteo Kaprasic and Jimmy Hannes. 15th row, Lorenzo Ferrari, who just won the second chance heat, and Max Pilker. 16th row, Pietro Wisnicki and Madeline Radney. And row 17, final row, Andre Walter and Phil Durr. So they are the runners and riders in this, on the 17 rows, ready for the racing, ready for dishing out the points. Is Axel Charpentier going to add to his haul he's got so far this season? Is Mark Kimber going to upset the party? He had a very challenging Genk in the opening round where he had an accident in the pre-final, but he came through to finish, I think it was 5th in the final, which does put him 7th in the championship. So he's desperate to convert that pole position into a victory here in this pre-final. It's going to be 12 laps of solid racing between all of these drivers. So many have got every chance of getting themselves towards the front, as we've seen all weekend. This bumper grid slowed down and ready to go. And they're into the corridors, onto the start-finish straight. Here we go. Everybody seems to be okay. The lights are out and off we go racing. Chausso was one of the ones that tried to force his way over, but the gap was not there. And we're going through turn 1, and so far so good. It does look as though, well, I was about to say everybody safely, but someone is now on the exit of the corner. But into the lead is Mark Kimber, and it looks like number 49, Glenn Van Berlo's got himself up into that second position. So it's the inside line that has really helped the most there as we head down to turn number 6. And down to restaurant corner. No one at the front making a lunge at the moment, but you can see how close everybody is together at the moment. Mark Kimber just looking behind him to see how close Glenn Van Berlo is. And it looks like Axel Charpentier is in 3rd position, but we got a challenge for the lead already, and moving up the inside, Glenn Van Berlo does indeed through the left-hand turn number 10. He's made the move, and he's closed it out. Absolutely brilliant. I didn't think he was close enough to make the move to start with, but my goodness, he did it nice and cleanly. These two do not want to slow themselves down, though, because Axel Charpentier has lost contact with them at this stage, and they want to continue that. And we got another move there for, I think that was for 4th or 5th position. It looks like kart number 33, Tamino Bergmeyer's just moved up another position. But at the moment, it is Glenn Van Berlo just ahead of Mark Kimber, Axel Charpentier, Tom Canning up there in 4th position. 5th is Ollie Bergmeyer. Actually, I think he was the one that just got... I thought we were going to have a change there. And in fact, we have. Mark Kimber's down to 7th. I was so busy looking at the screen for a second just to catch up on everybody else. All hell broke loose. That was a big lead that these lead two had to start with. But Axel Charpentier is now up into 2nd, just behind Glenn Van Berlo. And down to 3rd goes Mark Kimber. And in fact, he's under masses of pressure himself. So he's not able to just get onto the back of Axel Charpentier because number 38, Tom Canning, is all over the back of him like a rash at the moment, who in turn has Tamino Bergmeyer all over the back of him. Oh, and under braking. I thought we were just going to get a little bit of contact, but Bergmeyer managed to get it stopped. And just behind him is 64, Ollie Coldwell. So Ollie Coldwell sat there in 6th position, but right on the back of Tamino Bergmeyer as they disappeared down the long straight, very quick. Oh, and we got a very wide line taken there by our leader, Glenn Van Berlo. That means Axel Charpentier just tapped him, and as they got down to restaurant corner, he's tapped him again, and through goes our championship leader into the lead, Axel Charpentier. From 3rd, he's now got himself up into 1st position. That is not what Mark Kimber would have wanted to have seen. Glenn Van Berlo still with him in that second position, probably feels that he was just tapped a little bit on those two corners. That's racing. That's exactly what you need to do, is just get yourself into those positions. He got himself there. Axel Charpentier in the lead. Glenn Van Berlo, Mark Kimber, Ollie Caldwell is now up into fourth position, so it's constantly changing as you'd expect in this junior 12-lap race. And the front two are just starting to pull away ever so slightly again, but we saw that a moment ago, and that just evaporated. Mark Kimber's under incredible pressure in that third position from Ollie Caldwell, as Axel Charpentier is just desperately trying to put a bit of space. And we got a challenge there. Is that Ollie Caldwell potentially got himself up into third position? Yes, he has. Ollie Caldwell just got up the inside of Mark Kimber as they went down into Restaurant Corner, and he's managed to hold it. I thought that Mark Kimber was going to look up the inside through turn number 9 there, but not quite possible. So Ollie Caldwell now just trying to cement that third position and see whether he's able to even close in on these lead two who are just breaking away. Axel Charpentier under massive pressure, and we've got a move being made by Glenn Van Berlo, and he does it into turn 1. He forced Axel Charpentier out wide onto the bumps in that turn 1. And I think Axel Charpentier knew there's no way he's going to carry it around the outside of that corner. He needs to just get himself back inside, because he knows there's multiple places on this circuit where he can challenge again. And in fact, he's doing it already down towards turn 6. Up the inside he goes. He didn't even bother wait until Restaurant Corner. He's done it again. Very sensible racing there. And it looks like Mark Kimber possibly, yes he has, he's back up into third position. So he's managed to jump past Ollie Caldwell again. Just behind Ollie Caldwell is now Adam Smalley. He's moved up 3 positions. So he's got ahead of Tamino Bergmeyer, which is absolutely brilliant moving by Smalley. Here comes the lead 2 round the final corner onto the start-finish straight. 5 laps completed in this 12-lap race. Axel Charpentier from Glenn Van Berlo. Mark Kimber now back up into that third position ahead of Ollie Caldwell. Adam Smalley, Chow Zhou just got muscled out on the start, so he's just working his way through. He's managed to get past Tamino Bergmeyer, who's just dropped back a couple of positions over the last few laps. And Lucas Donaire is now up to 8th position. 6 positions he's gained. So a cracking performance by Lucas Donaire. Through the Restaurant Corner right-hander. I thought we were going to get a late lunge there for a second from Glenn Van Berlo, but not quite. He just keeps looking towards the inside at these key overtaking corners, doesn't he? But he has the wherewithal to know, no, it's not quite on. Look at it. He's just closing. And I think that Axel Charpentier very sensibly just slowed him up on the apex of that corner as he went through the left-hander down at turn number 10. But the two of them are still working clear. Axel Charpentier is not using a comment. Look, and we've got he's still there. I thought he'd backed out of it, but then he was going to give it a go. Axel Charpentier just stuck to his racing line. Those two falling over each other has now evaporated that lead. So Mark Kimber and, frankly, everybody else is now up with him, which is Mark Kimber, Ollie Caldwell, Adam Smalley, Chow Zhou, Tamino Bergmeyer are all there within nibbling distance. Mark Kimber not quite able to make a move on Glenn Van Berlo just yet. And in fact, Van Berlo had to look behind him, which means that it's just given momentarily a very small bit of daylight. You see it's gone already to Axel Charpentier. It's like they're on elastic. They just keep going backwards and forwards, don't they? The joys of kart racing, because now Glenn Van Berlo is right back on the bumper of number 88, Axel Charpentier, through the right-hander of turn number 1. 7 laps completed so far. 5 laps of this manic race is still yet to go. It sounded like someone's bodywork maybe flapping as they went past here. Chow Zhou is just being passed by Tamino Bergmeyer. Lucas Donaire is right on the back of them as well. And Conor McCarthy and Tom Canning, reverse those orders as I just said it, apologies. They are there trying to get on the back of this row. And we do have a change for the second position, and Mark Kimber's got himself up into second. Oh, and I thought that Glenn Van Berlo was going to make a move on Kimber already, and Ollie Caldwell's just sniffing around there as these two are tripping over each other. Is Ollie Caldwell going to pounce? He doesn't need a second invitation, does he? He's waiting there, just desperately looking for that slither of a slightly open door, and he will pounce. All the while, this is allowing our leader, Axel Charpentier, to disappear into the distance. It's his common tactic, just back up the rest of the drivers so that they start squabbling with each other. Now he's able to clear off into the distance. Mark Kimber, his teammate, just behind him in second position. Glenn Van Berlo and Ollie Caldwell is possibly lining up Van Berlo as they head down the long straight toward turn number 6. Not able to quite make a move there, but down to Restaurant Corner. Has he carried the momentum to look up the inside? He can't, because Glenn Van Berlo didn't allow any space up the inside. Axel Charpentier going through the right-hander, turn number 9. Mark Kimber with the snake of carts just behind him with Glenn Van Berlo, Ollie Caldwell. Just behind him is Adam Smalley, Tamino Bergmeyer, Chao Zhou. They're not falling away, are they, really? It is a constant chain there. In fact, just behind Chao Zhou, it looks like the number 38 car of Tom Canning. Lucas Denaire has actually jumped ahead of Chao Zhou now. As we go through the S's turn number 3, Axel Charpentier still just trying to stretch his legs at the front. He's managed to get over a half a second lead at the moment, so he's doing a great job there as we sit there with, what have we got left? 3 laps remaining. Next time round, they'll be going on to their penultimate lap already. Where does the time go when the race is as exciting as this? Mark Kimber still holding on valiantly to that second position, doing a great job of just keeping him away from his teammate. Axel Charpentier just still pulling away ever so slightly at the front. And Ollie Caldwell, number 64, is there. Oh, and it's that little tiny bit of contact between Glenn Van Berlo and Mark Kimber. Did not settle Mark Kimber at all. He still sat there in second position. No compromise to his momentum. Adam Smalley is right on the back of Ollie Caldwell now. And Lucas Denaire has made up yet another position. He's up into 6th now. That's 8 places he's made up in this race already. A fabulous performance there by the number 14 car to get ahead of Tamino Bergmeyer. And that lead has evaporated, hasn't it? Axel Charpentier's lead is now considerably smaller. It was 0.435, so it'd come down a bit. But looking at that as they go through Restaurant Corner, that looks considerably smaller again. Is Mark Kimber going to get himself in a position to make a move? He's got Glenn Van Berlo behind him, but not tapping his bumper as he was previously. So Mark Kimber can focus on Axel Charpentier. He wants to take the lead. He had the pole position. He wants to get back into the lead. They're going to come through and take the last lap board this time, and it is those lead two. Absolutely joined together. No wonder Axel Charpentier going very defensive. Moves back to the outside to take the ultimate line. But he was making sure he was aware where Mark Kimber was as they go through turn 3. Glenn Van Berlo's got Ollie Caldwell all over the back of him. Round turn number 5 onto the long straight. Who's got the best momentum through this complex? We'll have to wait and see. No change in the order behind at the moment, but it looks like a few attempt in it. But have we got, was that a little bit of contact as Axel Charpentier went back towards the left-hand side of the track? I think that he just caught the nose maybe of Mark Kimber. And is Mark Kimber under pressure? No, not quite. That was an optical illusion. I thought Glenn Van Berlo was looking up the inside, but he's desperately trying to defend from Ollie Caldwell. Through comes Axel Charpentier. Just 2 more corners to do. Is he going to close out the victory in his pre-final? Mark Kimber wants to change that, but he's not close enough to do it. They've broken away, these two. Through goes Axel Charpentier to take the victory. Second, Mark Kimber. Glenn Van Berlo only just taking that 3rd position because Ollie Caldwell just pulled to the side to see whether he could take that position away from him, but he comes home in 4th. Adam Smalley 5th. Lucas Denaire, great performance in 6th position. Tamino Bergmeyer 7th. 8th was Tom Canning. 9th Chao Zhou. Conor McCarthy, great performance coming in 10th. That's 5 places he made up there. Hugo Anderson and Schmidley in 12th. The 100 car of Del Sarto, who had problems in the warm-up this morning, comes home in 13th position. 7 places he made up. Killian Meyer in 14th. Sebastian Essner 15th. Max Pilker made up 14 places. He was in the second chance heat this morning, and he's got himself into the pre-final, and he's made himself up to 16th position, 14 position gain. Ferrati up to 17th, Valent up to 18th, Laszlo Toth 19th, Laurie Lepper 20th. He lost out a lot of positions there for some reason. John Nomblo 21st, 22nd was Dirk Seefried. He lost a lot of positions as well. Krajewal 23rd, 24th was Pietro Wisnicki, Kaprasic, Percival, Netigovsky, Artsemi, Walter, Durr, Hannes, Ferrari, Radney and Phillips, who did not finish, only managed, unfortunately, a couple of laps before it was put out, or not even that, was put out on that first corner. But what an exciting start to pre-final time. A great victory by Axel Charpentier in the junior